Picture this. You're sitting across from your doctor. You tell them you've lost 30 pounds in 6 months. Your blood pressure is down and your A1C is down. By every clinical measure, you're healthier than you had been in a decade. And you still look at your doctor and say, I feel like I cheated. Well, that is Ozempic for you. If you're using a GLP-1 or thinking about it and you feel that quiet guilt in the back of your mind, this video is for you. I'm going to show you exactly why that guilt is based on a misunderstanding of your own biology. And I'm going to show you something that most videos about Ozempic never mention. What these drugs actually do to your heart. The data surprised even cardiologists. I am Dr. Dabhadkar, a board-certified preventive cardiologist. I've spent 15 years helping patients prevent heart disease. And GLP-1s are now one of the most important conversations I have in my clinic. Now, before we get into it, I put together a free guide called Optimal that covers the full framework I use with my patients to protect their hearts. It is in the description below. Grab it now and let's keep going. So let's start with the word itself. Cheating means breaking a rule to gain an unfair advantage over someone. So test it against your own situation. What rule are you breaking and who are you gaining an advantage over? Most people come up empty. There's no rule book for your own health. The only person on the other side is a future healthier version of you. And this instinct is not new. We have done it with every tool that made a hard thing easier. When insulin arrived, some called it a crutch for people who should just eat better. Statins, the easy way out for people who could not change their diet. The same line followed antidepressants. And if we go back far enough, people sneered at eyeglasses. Every time medicine makes a hard thing easier, someone calls it cheating. And eventually, we just call it medicine. I still watch patients lower their voice when they tell me they take a statin. Like a cholesterol pill is something to confess. It is not. And neither is this. But the cheating argument is only half of what people say. The other half is that it is the easy way out. And that one falls apart the moment you understand what your body actually does when you try to lose weight. That is next. Your body simply does not accept weight loss. It fights to get it back. Food starts to look better. You feel hungrier, colder, a little more tired. Your metabolism slows and your hunger hormones climb. All of it dragging you back towards a set point your body is defending. We watched how stubborn this is in public. Picture the night Danny Cahill wins one of those televised weight loss competitions. He has lost more than 200 pounds. He's the lightest he has been since he was a boy. Then the years pass and the weight gradually comes back, even though he's still fighting it. Scientists bring him and the other contestants back into the lab 6 years later. Their metabolisms are still suppressed, burning hundreds of calories a day less than their body should. Their bodies had been fighting the entire time to put the weight back on. I see the same thing in clinic every week. Someone loses weight, does everything right, and then watches the weight climb back. They sit across from me certain it was their own failure. It is not. It is biology working against them. There's a hormone behind this called leptin. This is how your fat tells your brain how much fuel is on board. When you lose fat and leptin falls, the brain sounds an alarm. This is not a design flaw. For almost all of human history, losing weight meant famine. A body that fought to hold on to fat was a body that survived. Think of it as an ancient software in a world of endless processed food. So if your own biology is fighting fat loss this hard, what would a real solution have to target? The biology itself. And that is exactly what these drugs do. But where they come from is the part very few people talk, and it starts in the desert. These drugs are a longer lasting copy of a gut hormone you already make, the one that signals fullness. So instead of fighting hunger with willpower, you're turning the signal itself back down. After you eat, cells in your gut release a hormone called GLP-1. It tells your brain you're full. It slows how fast your stomach empties, and it nudges your pancreas to release insulin, but only when your blood sugar is actually high. That part is very important. It does not crash blood sugar the way some older drugs could. But this hormone had a fatal catch. In your body, an enzyme destroys it in about 2 minutes, very fast for it to ever work as medicine. For years, that dead end stalled the entire field. The fix was hiding in the desert. Think about how a Gila monster lives. It eats just a few enormous meals a year, then it fasts for months. A gut hormone that vanished in 2 minutes would be useless to an animal like that. Its version evolved to last. In the early 1990s, a researcher at the VA hospital in the Bronx named Dr. John Ng went looking for the lizard's venom. Inside, he found a near twin of human GLP-1 that lasts for hours instead of minutes. Then the system failed him. Drug companies passed. His own medical center would not help him patent it. So he paid for it out of his own pocket. A small company finally took the risk. And in 2005, that lizard venom molecule became the first medicine of its kind. Getting to the once-a-week version took another decade. Attaching a small fatty chain that grabs onto the protein, your blood, and shields the molecule so one dose would last you a week. The thing in that pen is decades of work, a hormone you already make, rebuilt to survive in your body, borrowed from a lizard that fasts for months. That is a lot of things. A shortcut is not one of them. But here's the part I want you to hear as a cardiologist, because this is the piece that very few people talk about. These drugs do not just help you lose weight. There's now trial evidence that they protect your heart in a way that has nothing to do with the weight loss. And the way we found that out is genuinely strange. In 2023, the results of a trial called SELECT were published. It enrolled over 17,000 people with cardiovascular disease who were overweight but did not actually have diabetes. Half of them got semaglutide, or a GLP-1 agonist, and the rest half got a placebo. They followed them for nearly 5 years. The group on the GLP-1 had a 20% reduction in major cardiovascular events, and this includes heart attacks, strokes, and death from any heart-related event. Here's what makes that number even more remarkable. The cardiovascular benefit showed up before significant weight loss had even occurred. The drug appears to have direct anti-inflammatory effects on the arteries themselves, independent of weight loss. So when my patients ask me whether they are cheating, I tell them, you're not just losing weight, you may actually be protecting your heart. And that is not cheating. That is exactly what medicine is supposed to do. My patients describe the day-to-day effect in a way that still surprises me. They call it the food noise going quiet. That constant background chatter, the snack you keep thinking about, the second helping you argue yourself out of, it just turns down. For the first time, many of them say eating feels like a decision instead of a tug of war. But I want to be honest about what people actually sign up for, because the easy way out picture gets this completely wrong. The first few weeks can be rough. Nausea. You have to deliberately eat enough protein and keep training, because if you do not, a significant chunk of what you lose can be muscle instead of fat. And I have watched patients fight their insurance company for months just to stay on it. And there's one more part that matters: stopping the medicines. These drugs treat a chronic condition the way blood pressure medicines do. We do not expect blood pressure to stay down after you quit your blood pressure medicines. It is the same here. When people stop, the appetite returns. And so often, the weight returns as well. People on these drugs are doing real continuous work. The medicine handles the biology. The people handle everything else. And that is not a shortcut. That is how every serious chronic condition gets managed. So once you see this as treatment for real biology, the whole question changes shape. There's no rule you're breaking. There's no opponent you're beating, except a version of your own body that is wired to pull the weight back on. Treating a real medical condition with a tool built just for it, this is just medicine. So you can take everything in this video and use it. You now understand the biology, the history, and the data better than most people who have an opinion about this drug. But knowing the science is only part of it. The harder part is figuring out whether this is actually right for your specific situation, your labs, your cardiac risk, your history. You have to know your ApoB, your inflammatory markers, your metabolic baseline. You have to know whether the weight you're carrying is actually the only thing driving your risk or whether something else is. Most people are guessing. Get that wrong and you could be on a drug that is not the right fit for you or missing a bigger issue entirely. I've seen patients who were on GLP-1s for 2 years and still had uncontrolled inflammation in their arteries because nobody looked at the full picture. That is exactly what my free guide Optimal covers. So if you want to learn more about how to get and keep a healthy heart, grab the free Optimal guide in the description below. It is the same framework I walk my patients through. It is free. Take it. So now you know the biology, the history, and the data. GLP-1s are not cheating. They are medicine. But here's what I did not tell you. The cardiovascular benefit from these drugs go deeper than the SELECT trial. There's a specific mechanism inside the walls of your arteries that researchers only recently identified. And it changes how we think about treating heart disease completely. The data are genuinely strange. So if you want to learn more about how to grow a stronger heart, what labs to get, in the next video on the screen, I put together everything that you need to know. Click it right here and I will see you there.